My name is Andy McHenry. I'm the emergency manager at Emporia State University. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your day to educate yourself on what to do during an active assailant or active shooter event. Is there a difference between an active assailant and an active shooter? I would argue that there is no difference. I call this training active assailant because the principles learned in traditional active shooter courses and run, hide, fight trainings can be applied in situations where an attacker or attackers are not using firearms. One of the goals for my department is to help create a culture of preparedness throughout the campus. I am hopeful that this training will help you feel more prepared, empowered, and know some prevention measures regarding the active assailant topic. FBI stats for 2018, there's 27 incidents, 85 people were killed, 128 were wounded. From the 2000 to 2018 timeframe, there were 277 incidents where 884 were killed and 1,546 were wounded. The graph to the right categorizes each of the shootings and the locations that they occurred, and we will come back to that in a later slide. So preparedness. Know multiple evacuation routes. Know all the evacuation routes for your residence, your classrooms, your study areas, office, even the places you shop. Be aware of your environment and any possible dangers. Basically, if you see something, say something, anything or any person that seems to be out of place, please call 911 and report the situation because it's better to be safe than sorry. Knowing how to react can save lives. There's a training offered by FEMA called You're the Help to Help Arrives. It's about 30 minutes and it's free. And it helps empower the student to take action to help people during an emergency situation. The Red Cross offers several apps for your phone. The first aid app has guidance on how to treat several different conditions such as cuts or bleeding, broken bones. And it gives the user instructions on how to treat those injuries until EMS crews can arrive on scene. Set up an accountability text group for your department, your office, your group of friends. That way you can check on one another if there is an emergency situation. Adopt a survivalist mindset. We'll get to that in a couple slides. If you see something, say something. Again, if it seems out of place, a package or a backpack or a person, go ahead and call the police. It's better to be safe than sorry. And then knowing what to do can save lives in an emergency situation. So empowerment, survivalist mindset. First aspect is awareness. Learn the emergency you are preparing yourself for. Understand the situation and any possible outcomes that may evolve. Know your environment well enough to recognize changes. So just, again, that being prepared, know how to react. Prevention. Look at your environment through the lens of survival and ask what if questions, meaning what if there was a fire alarm that went off right now? How would you get out of the building? If there was a shooter, how could you get out of the building? Or how would you barricade your doors? This will help you prepare to do whatever it is that it takes to get you through that incident. Rehearsal. Practice either physically or mentally, walk through your options to help you gain confidence and reduce your response time. It's just like a sport. If you practice let's say basketball, you practice your free throws, at some point becomes muscle memory and you have a better feeling on how to do it. This is the same line of thinking. If you know how you're going to react in that situation, you're more likely to actually act like that when an emergency comes up. Prevention. Have your evacuation routes and in your mind planned out, as we already discussed. Foster a workplace learning space of respect. Promote respectful communication. Those two are big. It's the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I can't advise enough to treat others with respect. And then be aware of your indications for workplace violence. Some of these signs, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, are unshakable depression, continual excuses or blame, increase of alcohol or drug abuse, poor health and hygiene, unusual or changed behaviors, concentration problems, attendance problems, decreased productivity, and inconsistent work patterns. So with that, let's get into the active assailant mindset. So they are actively engaged in killing, actively attempting to kill, want to do as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. They will rarely take hostages and do not negotiate. They will typically seek out confined, populated areas, soft targets, meaning areas that have little to no security. Again, on the right hand side, there's that chart that we already saw once, with a breakdown of where all these shootings were categorized, where they occurred. So as you can see, commerce is there at 43.7%. So that's your malls, your grocery stores, things like that. And then educational institutions, K through 12 or higher ed, and then open spaces, and then government buildings. So the incident itself, targets can be random or specific. Incidents are unpredictable and they evolve quickly. They often last only 10 to 15 minutes. Some incidents are over within 5 minutes or less. And your own mental and physical preparedness are critical for your survival. What to expect. So during an active shooter or an active assailant event, you can expect noise, confusion, screaming, alarms. They may pull the fire alarm to help draw people out of classrooms. There are going to be people hiding, confused and scared. Some people are going to be injured, bleeding, and are dying, in the process of dying or dead. And again, as I said earlier, they could be pulling fire alarms, so expect that the fire alarms may be going off or sprinklers may be operated. Anything they can do to create a more chaotic environment to get you out of your comfort zone so you don't know how to react is what they want. Leaders. Now, when I say leaders, I don't necessarily mean supervisors or somebody that may be perceived in a traditional leadership role, because this is a different situation. So the leader could be you. When this situation starts, take immediate action. Try to remain calm. Lock and barricade the doors if that's the safest thing to do. Try to evacuate staff and visitors. And basically be the calm in the chaos. Staying calm in this situation will help others follow you. So again, this is knowing what to do can save lives. If you've rehearsed everything and you're calm and you know how you're going to react, it can help save other people by getting them to follow you out of the building if it's safe to do so. A little run, hide, fight image there. So run. Just like with a fire drill, or if there's a fire, leave all your belongings behind. Silence your phone. Try to help others escape if possible. Evacuate regardless of whether someone agrees to follow you or not. If it's safe for you to evacuate and run, and you try to get somebody to help, try to help somebody escape also, and they are refusing, you need to do what's in your best interest for survival. Do not attempt to move anybody that's wounded, and be aware of your surroundings. Runs continued. Use angles to identify possible threats. So I'm going to skip ahead a slide so you can see what I'm talking about. As you can see, the gentleman in the picture, He's not stepping out into the hallway to see if there's not a threat, to see if it's clear. He's just kind of peeking around the corner, make sure it's clear, make sure it's safe to go down that hallway before making entry into the hallway. Seek cover and concealment. Concealment will conceal your location. So an example would be bushes, fences, a curtain, whereas cover will not only conceal your location, but it will be able to stop a bullet as well. So something like a concrete or brick wall, thick trees, engine blocks, things like that, something that has the ability to stop a bullet. Prevent others from entering the area. If you know there's an assailant in the building, you run out, you see somebody trying to walk into the building, stop them from going into the building. Keep your hands visible at all times, because you don't know when emergency responders are going to start showing up. When they do start showing up, you want them to know that you are not a threat. Now, once it's safe for you to do so, call 911. All right, our second option, hide. So the first thing you want to do is lock the door and then barricade the door. You want to barricade the door because it's going to buy you time. It may disinterest the assailant. So use large, heavy furniture, multiple layers, put everything you can between you and the assailant. Silence your phones, turn off any other source of noise. So for myself, I like to listen to music at my desk. I need to remember to turn off my speakers or close out of my web browser that's streaming the music, so there's not that extra attention being drawn to me. Again, cover and concealment. If there's a window on the door, try to stay out of the view of the window. Stay as far away from the door as possible. Try to remain quiet. Try not to trap yourself or restrict your movements. And only if it's safe to do so, call or text 911. Now, I do want to point out an example where hiding was successful. This was in the Parkland shooting. Although the shooting itself was extremely tragic and horrific, I need to highlight part of this event. So the teachers and students on the second floor heard the shots on the first floor. When they heard this, they applied hide tactics by turning off the lights, locking the doors, barricading the doors, and staying out of sight of the shooter. When the shooter made it to the second floor, he attempted to open doors, he attempted to look into doors, and couldn't make entry into any of the rooms. He did fire 6 shots, but there are no lives lost on that entire floor. So again, I am acknowledging that that was a horrific and terrible event, but there is proof that the hiding tactics, when used, can be successful. So here's some other ways, outside the box ways to barricade the doors. You got a 2x4 and some ratchet straps. That's one way to help keep a door closed. Probably more common for our environment would be piling up desks and tables against a door. All right, fight. Fight is our last resort. You want to attempt to incapacitate the assailant. If you're in a group, work together, ambush the assailant. Act with as much physical aggression as you possibly can. Because again, these people are trying to kill you, so you need to do everything that you can to save your own life. Improvise your weapons. So you have a stapler, you have books, chairs, whatever you have available to you, use it as a weapon. Throw the items at the assailant, specifically at their head. This is because if it is an active shooter and they are aiming their weapon, if you throw something at their head, it's their body's natural reaction to duck, which could change their sight and their aim. If the assailant's weapon is dropped and it's safe to do so, put it in a trash bin, and escape with the bin. If you escape with the bin, carry it over your head. Do not just pick up the weapon and run out of the room with the weapon, because then you are going to look like you're the assailant. And we don't want that. So that's why we say put it in a bin, carry it over your head, and once you get outside and safe, let the officers know that you have the weapon in this trash bin. And then commit to your actions like your life depends on it. So my background, I used to be a 911 dispatcher, and I wanted to touch on what it's like or what to expect when reporting to 911. This is something that you don't need to memorize, but I just want you to be familiar with. So the first thing I want to point out is location, location, location. And what I mean by that is if you call 911, you're going to need to give, you can't call and just say, there's an active shooter at Emporia State University. Well, Emporia State University is that's a pretty big property. So you need to be as specific as possible. You need to say it's in this, whatever building you're in, whatever room or whatever floor, you need to be that specific. I can't tell you if I had $1 for every time I took an emergency call and somebody said, I asked where the location of the emergency was and I got my house. Well, I don't know where you live. So I need you to be as specific as possible as to what location you're in or the shooter is. The type of emergency, suspects or numbers of suspects, and their location and direction of travel. If you saw the weapons, and if you can give weapon information, that's great. If you can, describe the subjects from top to bottom, meaning start with the hair. So for me, it'd be a white male with brown hair, a beard, heavy set, wearing a black shirt. And so on. And then outside to end, meaning if they're wearing a jacket, so they were wearing a black jacket with a black t-shirt underneath, something like that. Then you want to give your name, let them know if there's any medical needs for yourself or your group, your phone number, and do not hang up unless your life is in danger, because you can still be giving critical information to those dispatchers who can then relay them to the responding officers. Lyon County Communications Center and text in 911. So one of the great things about Lyon County is they are one of 71 counties in Kansas that has this ability. All you need to do is enter 911 in your text field and enter as the recipient, and this will work for you. Use this function when it's not safe to talk. So whatever situation, it doesn't have to be an active shooter or an active assailant. If there's another situation where you can't talk and you feel unsafe, you can use this technology. And they have the ability to text from, so it's called text from 911, and be able to text back and forth with you while still getting whatever emergency resources you need to you. Also within the text in 911, they have a language adaptability. So they have 150, I think, different languages they can text in. So you can text, you can even call. And if you're not a native English speaker, tell them that you have an emergency and they can switch to text, and they can text you in English and it can translate to your native language. So that's pretty cool technology that they have. Another one is this app. It's free in the App Store, and it's called What 3 Words. Essentially, this company took the United States, put it into a grid. Each grid square is about the size of a parking lot, and it has a unique 3-word code. So if you do not know where you are, this will give you a good resource to relay to the dispatcher that here's my what 3 words. and then they can search it on their end and get an exact location where you are. Now, it doesn't, if you're on the third floor, you may need to also clarify that you're on the third floor of a building, because it doesn't do vertical space, just 2D. So pretty cool technology that they got to help the citizens of Lyon County and here at Emporia State. All right, law enforcement response. Their priority is to stop the assailant and then life preservation. So when they arrive, if you're trying to help somebody with some medical problems, don't expect them to stop to help you until the assailant has been stopped. Officers usually arrive in teams to help to go and clear out the building and try to find the assailant. It is likely that they will be shouting commands because they're going to be, a lot of adrenaline is going to be flowing. So you're going to need to just prepare yourself for that. How to respond when the police arrive. Again, the police don't know that you're not the suspect. So try to remain calm, follow the instructions, keep your hands empty and visible at all times. Avoid making quick movements towards officers and or trying to hold on to them or yelling at them. Avoid pointing. Don't stop them and ask for help, directions, trying to evacuate. They came from one direction, go in that direction that they came from. Some other resources for if you want to further your knowledge on this topic. The City of Houston has a great Run, Hide, Fight video. It's on YouTube. FEMA has it's called IS 907. IS stands for Independent Study. It's an online course. So IS 907, Active Shooter, What Can You Do? It's an hour long, it's free, and you get a little certificate afterwards if you take it. FEMA, again, you're the Help to Help Arrives training. That's a great one. FEMA also has disaster planning, so for flooding, fires, earthquakes, other natural disasters. If you go to ready.gov, they have little plans and checklists so you can prepare yourself at home or work. I would encourage everybody on here to take CPR or first aid. The reason why is going along with the empowerment and preparedness aspect. If you know how to perform CPR, it doesn't have to be an active shooter or active assailant. It could just be you're out to dinner and somebody at a table next to you starts having a heart attack. You could be the person that saves that person's life. So taking CPR, taking first aid, knowing basic first aid is good for everyone to know these skills. And it'll help you in an emergency situation, be that calm in the chaos that we talked about before. And remember, the actions that you take matter and can save lives. So I want to thank you again for taking this course, and I hope you have a great day.